Hey everyone! Thanks for joining me for another summer prep series session. Today we're going to be building the Build Your Own Computer paper activity, which is one of my very favorites. It's something that I created a few years ago now, and I just keep adding to it because I can't even help myself. It's such a cute little thing for your students to be able to take home, and they love creating it. So let's just dive in to what you're going to need if you will prep this along with me today. First is the pages. There are a lot of pages. I'm going to be going through all the differentiation options as we go, but you're going to need the pages. Students love to put them on colored paper as their like computer case. Old school, as though we're doing the what were those called? The Macs that were all those beautiful, pretty colors. You'll have to tell me what those are called. Anyway, markers, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have. I like a thicker one and then either a pen or a thinner marker because they're going to be labeling and putting the keys on the keyboard, that kind of stuff, if you go with that option. Glue sticks or liquid glue and scissors. So it's one of the easiest things that we have to prep. This is going to be like the student model, the demo example. If you choose to use this across multiple grade levels, you'll want to prep multiple versions of it because it gets harder and harder as you choose to differentiate it differently. I picked 3 colors that I love, and I'm not sure which one I want to use as my background today. I feel like I want a pink one. I'm just feeling the pink today. So it's going to be portrait like this, and then it will kind of fold like a computer like that. The first layer, so think of this almost like we're doing like a dissection, and there are layers to this laptop that we're going to be building. That's how this is working. So the base of it, well, technically the base is your colored paper, but then we have the base of the computer case with 2 options. One has the blank spaces down here that the students will be filling in, and one includes it already done. So let's say you want to do this with your youngest students and you don't want them to have to cut out each and every one of these pieces and color it and glue it and all that. You can go with this version of it to be the simplest possible one. I'm going to go with this one today. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this, but I usually advise coloring and then gluing, but it really depends on your setup that you have. So it's fun to get the outline colored in. I went with pink, so let me I want to like maybe stick with some warm colors. It's fun. Every time that I go for markers or something, at my house, I know that my youngest nephew is fully obsessed with the color red, so it's not uncommon at all for red to anything to go missing. So I'm surprised that I have a red in here, but I do. I decided I'm going to do the case on the outside of this one yellow to go on that pink background. I think that that'll be nice, and it doesn't have to be perfect because you're cutting around that dotted line, and most of it is going to be layered later on anyway. But I'm just going to kind of do this outline. Students have such a blast making it their own, and the cool part is every single one turns out so differently. It's adorable. Okay, so I have the yellow, and I'm cutting around the dotted line here. The very bottom piece of this is the inside of the computer on the bottom, and then the desktop on the top. So later on, we're going to be filling in the desktop with lots of icons, and students can make it their own. And we are going to be just layer as we go through this. Hey to anybody that managed to join me. Facebook was being super difficult with not allowing videos or pictures to like even go through today. So I wasn't sure that we were going to be able to do this live, but then I had started to record just like a regular video and I was like, nah, technology never goes as planned. Let's just do it this way anyway and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm putting kind of, since this is our base, kind of a lot of glue on the back of this one, and then trying to center it on the colored part. So we'll let this dry. Here's the base. So this is my desktop of the computer, and then this is inside underneath. Let this dry while we get the next set of layers. So on top of the desktop is going to go a browser, and on top of the inside of my computer is going to go a keyboard. And I have multiple options for the keyboards, and even have recently added an emoji keyboard, which is so cute. My nephew inspired that one, my older nephew, because he was fully communicating with us, entire sentences, texting with just emojis. And I was like, I have to include emojis in our keyboard now. So while this one dries, I'm going to get the next stuff ready. So we have, I want to prep, there's 2 on a page here, but I want to prep one of these emoji keyboards, and then the browser window and this keyboard, and then we'll do our icons last. So here are some examples of the differentiation again. So we had those base where it was either blank or it had the icons already for the pieces of the computer, and these keyboards are another example. One is filled in, one isn't. So let's say you're doing this with your youngest little students, you want the one that's already filled in, that way they don't have to. But you want to give your older students, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, more of a challenge. Have the blank one, have them color code the keys, have them fill it in themselves. It's totally up to you how challenging you want to make that for them. This one, I'm just going to cut around the browser. For the sake of time in this video, I decided to go with the one with the keyboard already filled in, and I'll probably color code. You can have them color code the home row keys, or however you teach the keyboarding, hand placements. If it's your young students, you might just do left hand, right hand, and let them know where the line is down the middle. And if they're older, all the way up to how each key has a different finger and therefore a different color. In the set, there isn't just these 2 keyboards either. I tried to give a few different layouts. Sometimes I sit around and think that I wish that all of these keyboard manufacturers would get together and pick one universal keyboard layout, because it is really difficult to always provide everything in all of these different layouts. Like, all it is that bottom row and the top row, right? I think students, it's easy enough for them to understand that like enter or return, delete or backspace, can be the same button, but it's those bottom rows where it's like, where's function, where's control, where's alt, where's command, any of those keys is where they start to get a little bit more challenged with finding it. Though, speaking from my own experience, my laptop versus my desktop computer that I have, their bottom rows are different. The function and the control keys are swapped. So that's something that I do every day. I mean, I don't always get on both computers every day, but that's an everyday kind of thing out in the real world that kids have to get used to, because we're all used to it too, huh? All right, now that I had my little soapbox about keyboards, so here are how the layers go. The bottom layer is going to go base, and then emoji keyboard, and I'm going to glue it on in just a second, and then keyboard like this. And then the top goes, I should have kept holding it, and the top has the desktop, and then the browser goes right over the top, and it fits perfectly. So I will glue these on and let them get sticky. again, it's a personal preference thing if you have students glue first or color first, and what you have time for. If it's more important to you that the glue sticks because maybe they have time to work on it again next time to finish coloring, or you're going to let them take it home and finish coloring it at home, then focus on using your time in class for the gluing part of it. Okay, our layers are set. Now on to all of our icons. So this is another step that can make it great for differentiation. Let me pull, I have 2 of these here. Okay, here are my 2. This is the big version where these are the ones that are going to go on the base, the very inside of the computer, and then these are meant to be desktop icons. The second option here is that the desktop icons just have a dotted line around them so your students don't have to cut out every single one. So let's say that you went with the version with these already prepped, and I didn't print it out, but I have a quick version that's just these on the page. It's like 3 of them on each side of the page. So 6 students could get just this piece out of it. So the simplest possible version, you've got this as the base, you've got the keyboard already filled in, and you have the quick cut and color version of the desktop icons. That's the fastest, simplest way. It's basically just an art project at that point, which all students absolutely adore. They love it. It looks great in a hall display. It's great to send home, whatever you want to do. Or if you do the version like I have going that has the blank bottom pieces, students will need to color and cut out each one of these. I just have them color like green and yellow because that's what the inside of a computer usually looks like. And then they can color the desktop icons whatever they want. We make it really quick. I tried to line up all of these icons so that it's just like a quick cut all the way down the line. Because believe me, I've been there. Students are not very efficient at cutting, especially if they think that they can get away with not being efficient at cutting. When it's finally time to put the icons in their places, the desktop icons do not have like a specific place to go. Students can kind of customize that just like we all can with a desktop, and like I'm sure we all have. But the parts inside of the computer all do have a place, and each of the little spots are specifically sized to fit with them. But if you're not sure, you can look at the like sample one that I have. There are only a few that like really matter. Like obviously the disk drive needs to be connected to the outside of the computer so that, you know, a disk or whatever could be put in or out. But there are other things like the hard drive that doesn't really matter where it goes. Talking away again. I chose to not color these at the moment just for this video, but they do look really cute all colored in. All right, so now I have my little pieces, and I think my paper's pretty much dry enough. So I'm gonna fold the regular keyboard back and my emoji keyboard back. It's starting to look so cute. I like to think of it all in layers, like we're putting it together. So now I can start to glue this. There is a vocabulary page that comes with it. If you want to make it pretty easy on your students, you can have this. You could just display this one or have like one printed per table or row, and students can figure out where the parts go based on that. And the icons are pretty not lifelike, like they're definitely icons, but it gets the whole idea there. We have included in this RAM, the CPU, which I just showed you, ROM, a disk drive, a fan, and a hard drive. And it comes with a definition, and then it also comes with a matching sheet. Let me show you. There's two versions of the matching sheet too. This one is the half page version, and then there's one with a full page. So you have those options, and students' job is to match them. It's a great little wrap up to this so that you can get an assessment piece for it. Okay, putting the fan. It's also important that the fan touches the outside so that it can get that heat out, right? That was my fan, and now I'm doing, I know not every computer still has a disk drive, but you can talk about input, like all of them still do have inputs. A lot of them are the HDMI or a USB and USB 3. Cool. All right. So we'll let this dry. I've put it together in the bottom there. And next I'm going to glue desktop icons. Let me fold these back down. So I have my browser up on top, and I'm going to put the desktop icons below it. And I'm going with the quick cut option. If you go with the full size one, there's probably going to be room for all but one of the icons, which is fine because again, they get to choose. And these are not any real programs. I just used some icon sets that I had from like a graphic design, but you can name them whatever you want and it can fill in for whatever programs you do have. On different devices, the icons for programs are different anyway, and different versions. We all know that. Microsoft loves to update their icons too. All right, so now we have all of this is technically put together. So now it would be the time to let it dry and then color it, label it. Eventually, once it's nice and dry, I have students fold it in half too, and that's when they can decorate the outside of their computer, put their name on the outside of it, that kind of thing. So we have our browser. I challenge them to, my older students, I might have them make a list of websites, or even younger students too, websites that they're allowed to visit, or have them do a full illustration of their favorite website. Anything like that is great for the browser. Or you can do different internet or internet safety terms and have them do words and definitions. This is like the most open-ended. You can do whatever you want with that one. We have our desktop, so I would color all of these icons, and then they have their programs. You can label them, whatever you like to do. Keyboard, this one is the filled in one. If I went with the blank one, I would have them fill in all of the keys with color coding. And then the emoji keyboard, they can color. That one's really just for fun, right? So it's got that layer there. And then this bottom layer, they color and label all of those parts. And then if you want, you can have them do the matching activity as your assessment piece. So that is the build your own computer. I'm going to keep coloring this one because I want to be able to take pictures of it and make it my model. If you have any questions at all, please ask them, and I will share photos of this one in the group once it's finished. I really hope that this live video worked. If not, I'll do my best to re-record a new video. Thanks for watching. Next week, the summer prep series that we're gonna do is a little different because we're gonna do the first digital one. So I will be at my computer and sharing my screen, and it will be all of the pixel art activities. So I'll be showing how, because there's multiple levels of them, showing how I prep all of that and how to do the activities with students. So be on the lookout. Those will be on sale from like Sunday through Tuesday. So be sure to grab them. That way you can prep along with me. If you prepped one today or you have one of these build your own computers, put a picture in the comments so that I can see it. I would love to see how you put yours together, which options you chose, and how you made it your own. All right, if you have any questions, ask them. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.